Okay, when you're formatting your works cited, one of the things you're going to want to make sure and do is to open your document in the full version of Word, because it's just not nearly as easy when you're in the online version. So I've got my paper here, I've got a running header with the page numbers, and my works cited will start on a whole new page. You can see it's the 13th page of my document. The works cited, you can click anywhere on works cited and center that. And then you also need to make sure that the whole thing is double spaced. So, and notice I'm including my works cited page and that there are no additional spaces anywhere. So I'm going to click on double space, and now I've got this uniform spacing between here and here and here and here. It doesn't matter, every line is spaced exactly the same. And if that's not true, then you probably need to highlight the whole thing and click this no spacing. That'll kind of rip the auto formatting settings that are on there off. Okay. I also need to make sure, I just realized that I'm not in the same font as I was, so I want to be in Times New Roman 12. So now my font here matches my font up here, and that's a good thing. And then finally, I need to make this in the hanging indent format. And the way that you do that, if you don't see your ruler up here, you're going to click on View, and you're going to click on Ruler. And then at that point, you're going to highlight all of your sources. Okay? And then you want these subsequent lines to be indented slightly so that the top line hangs out. And sometimes when you grab it and pull it over, it takes both of them. So you need to grab the top one and put it back on this little mark right there. So now you can see there's a hanging indent. More importantly, you know, these names are hanging out over. You can see that this one, actually, that is not the case. For whatever reason, it's not working. So I'm going to backspace here until it does. And then I click space. Now that one is correct. Okay, this one doesn't have an author, and so it starts with the title. You can see that all of my entries are in alphabetical order, which is also important. And then the other thing that you should make sure of is that each one of your sources should have something italicized, at least one thing italicized in the entry, because that's the source. Your sources should be italicized, and if they're not italicized, then you're missing something. Okay. The only other thing I would say is make sure that there's a period at the end of each entry, but for the most part your works cited should look identical to this as far as the spacing, the indentation, the font size, and everything else. This works cited page is it's the example paper from the MLA page itself.